Yi Yang Wang once said, "Colonialism created conditions for cosmopolitanism, which in turn were transformed into creativity that transcended the boundaries of one's own cultural traditions and familiar milieu." So, how did colonialism give birth to cosmopolitanism? Besides occupying the land, the Westerners' invention also forced China to open its door to foreign cultures. Then, these foreign cultures rooted in the soil where there was only Chinese culture and didn't follow the invaders when they left China in the end. Things like the architecture in the concession was still there. As something that cannot be erased, the foreign cultures became a part of the city's culture and imperceptibly influenced native people's life. Colonialism, in this way, converts Shanghai into a cosmopolitan city with an inclusive culture. We went to Fuxing Park, the largest French-style park in Shanghai, to see what people's lives are like in a former French concession. These three men enjoy their post-retire life playing saxophone in the park every day.
这是个比较浪漫的地方，法国人讲浪漫的，比较浪漫的。对，这里外国人最多了，比别的公园都多了。所有来旅行的都过来。
这是旅游景点嘛，因为法国人啊、欧洲人来说都到这里来嘛。
因为这是我们上海的一个特色，也就是中外文化的一个结合点。你看它这个
刚才不是讲了吗？就这里是法租界，
对面
所以它公园附近的那个建筑都具有法国人的那些风格，所以你看这里造高楼大厦的没有，看到了少吧？跟其他
其实这里有
变化很大的，
而且附近外国儿童小孩子多的不得了，和中国小孩都在一起玩的，这个就是教育。
你们对于就比如说我们现在还把它保持下来，保持在原来的那个样子，
那当然了。
那你们对此有什么看法吗？
看法，我们赞同政府这个规定啊，这不是要保留那个租界，租界是殖民地那个，我们痛恶它，我们要做主人了。现在是要把这个建筑留着，对吧？风貌留着，文化留着。
上海是一个海派城市，海派城市嘛，就是各个东西都有的，它是一个综合体，
要有西洋的东西啊，
去吸收外来的东西，是吧？海派就是吸收外来的。
就海派文化。
上海所以发展的快，叫做科技发达，因为就是外国人进来的早，把洋的东西都带过来了，所以上海就是发达，就是
属于最早开
发的地方。
In his essay, Yi Yang Wang said the existence of the foreign concessions in Shanghai was the precondition of the distinctive form of cosmopolitanism that flourished in Shanghai. From the perspective of local Chinese people, the architecture isn't just regarded as a historical symbol of colonialism, but it also reflects the cosmopolitanism in Shanghai and the characteristics of Shanghai as an inclusive city. People living in Shanghai keep the Western architecture in the former French concession in its original appearance and style. At the same time, they also put more Chinese elements into this Western-styled theme, which leads to the integration of Western and Chinese cultures.
我每个星期来教他们学。
你是教那些
就他们学生呀、中年人呀，都教他们学。这是我们中国文化的民族性。像日本啊、新加坡啊，他们都懂得我们中国。
那他们有的时候会在这里跟你们学吗？
有时候学，就要学4个字，叫上海味道。
As we can see from these two interviews, native residents have a strong awareness of the cultural integration happening in the park and even in the whole city. However, on the other hand, foreign travelers may not get the idea of this integration when they first arrive in Shanghai. As Kuhn once said, travelers often translate otherness into a framework that is familiar to the self. Thus, there is usually an inevitable prejudice or presumption when a traveler first arrives in a foreign place. Then, Kuhn expands Gadamer's idea and suggests that the key to approaching authority is then neither neutrality with respect to content nor the extinction of oneself, but the foregrounding and appropriation of one's own prejudices, which allows the author to assert its own truth against one's own foreign meanings. This means that it is important for the travelers to experience and understand other cultures by themselves. Travelers need to go into the native life to gain a real taste of the exotic culture, where they will be confined to the framework that is familiar to them. After interviewing some native people, we met Rebecca from France in the park, who currently works in Shanghai.
Yes, this park I think was created for foreigners at the beginning, and now it's very lively in the city. And, it's a very nice park in Shanghai, inside in the middle of Shanghai.
Okay.
Before big city, financial city, and very modern.
Oh. So after you come here, are there any change happen to your?
Yes, now I know it's also very Chinese.
It's also very Chinese.
Yeah, not only international, it's also very. For example, people live in the streets. We can see small shops in the streets. 小吃, the food is very typical Chinese. So it's a mix of international and Chinese.
style.
Yeah.
So